In today's quick singing tips, I'm talking about singing in the car. Obviously, we all love to belt out some songs when we are driving along the highway. However, is it good for our voice? So I'm just going to give you a few things to consider. So there are so many positives and so many benefits to singing in the car. Often my students will say, oh, I was driving and I went for that top note, I went for the belt and it was amazing and it was so easy. And then I tried to do it at home or in a lesson, in a practice session, and it just didn't work. Why is that? And that's generally because when we're singing in the car, we feel relaxed. We know that no one can hear us. We're driving along, we're on our own, we're in a really safe space. So often physically we'll be really relaxed. Mentally, nothing's holding us back as well. So we're often able to hit those notes. When we are driving, sometimes it's the only time we have for ourselves. So we're able to dedicate a bit more time to just enjoying our singing rather than overthinking technique. Just remember that when you're stopped at traffic lights, people on the outside can probably hear you, but there's nothing wrong with that. Now, we often talk about our alignment when we're singing, and that can be something that isn't great when we're in the car, but there are some benefits. It does depend on your car, on your seat. For example, my chair is really supportive of my lower back. So actually, if I'm thinking about my alignment when I'm driving, I can feel quite supported. Also, if you press back into your headrest, again, car dependent, you can get a little bit of support and feel the muscles of the back, which can be really useful. However, the main positive of singing whilst we drive is really just that it's enjoyable and we get a lot of love for it. So I encourage you to keep doing it. However, there are some things to be mindful about. I mentioned alignment. Now, we all have very different driving styles, and it's likely that you're either really relaxed and slumped, or maybe a little bit heightened and maybe a little bit tense as well. So you have to be mindful of your body and your setup if you're going to be doing a lot of singing in the car. Of course, if you're just doing the odd song, it's absolutely fine. Also, when we're driving along, we're often checking our blind spot, turning our heads. If that happens to be the bit of the song where we've got maybe a higher note or a stronger note, that could be not great for our voice if we're turning our neck at that particular point. So it's just something to be aware of. Now, when we are driving, we're always in that state of readiness, of being able to stop, look out for maybe dangers at any time. So our nervous system tends to be a little bit more in the fight or flight mode. So we maybe are a little on that edge of waiting for something, which isn't always great for our voice when we want to be a bit more in that rest and digest, relaxed space when we sing. If we are a bit more tense in our physicality or a little bit more slumped, it's likely that our breathing system isn't going to be able to work efficiently, and therefore it's not able to support our voice in a way that we would like. So, although I'm not saying these things to stop you from singing whilst you drive, they are things to be aware of. So when you are driving, if you want to have a bit of a sing, go for it. Go for those songs. If you feel relaxed, enjoy it. Just think about your voice use throughout the day. If you need to then use your voice later, what kind of singing you're doing. Now, I am pretty busy and I have an hour commute to one of my teaching jobs, and I need to use that time to practice for my performance work. So often on the way home, I'll put on a playlist of songs that maybe I need to learn, repertoire I just want to refresh, but I won't sing all of them through all the time. Sometimes you can still practice just by listening to songs if you want to do practice in the car, just listening to the songs, or maybe using an SOVT exercise to go along with the melodies so that you're kind of warming up or cooling down the voice, you're learning the material, but you're not going full out. You could also mark some songs if you really want to use the time to do some practice. However, think about what voice use you're doing. If you want to do some practice and use that time to yourself in the car, then just be really mindful about it. If you want to belt out the odd song every now and then I encourage you to go for it. Thanks for watching Quick Singing Tips, and don't forget to hit subscribe for much more content.